Hello, everyone. It's Phil Jones, and I am joined by Phil Boyle. I am at the show, the CES show in Las Vegas, while Phil's at home. So we wanted to kind of connect and talk about some of the exciting things that I saw at the show. So, Phil, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'd be doing better if I were there at the show.
So, Phil and I actually attended several CESs together when we worked for back in the days for Sony. And
Yeah.
I still try to come and visit it. And I will say, Phil, that the show has changed dramatically since the days when we were going to the show all the time.
Yeah, it was basically a big consumer electronics show when we were there, but how is it now?
I would probably say the best way to think of it is CES is now owned by the CTA, the Consumer Technology Association. And the show is becoming more of a technology show than actually a product show. Because I remember we used to go to the shows and you would come and every manufacturer would show every model they're making, every projector, every TV, every headphone, everything. And you're seeing that less and less. So all the big guys, whether it's Sony, Panasonic, LG, none of those guys are actually doing line shows anymore. It's more about look at the up and coming technology. But most of the time, it's not this huge amount of product here. It's more about the vision of where the companies are going now. Smart or mobility is a big one. Mobility, you hear this term mobility all the time. AI, those are the kind of things that they're showing. The big vendors here, or you'll see tons of Google. There's a tremendous amount of automotive here, but it's not the old car stereo automotive. It's the big car manufacturers and John Deere and boat manufacturers talking about, self-driving cars and self-driving bulldozers more than it is. You're more likely to see a self-driving bulldozer here than you are to see a home theater projector.
Well, it still sounds like it's a very cool show to be at. Are there a lot of projector companies there?
I will say there's not a huge amount of projector companies here, but there are some companies showing some pretty interesting projector technologies. So like the big guys like Sony and Panasonic are not showing projectors, and Epson's not really here on the floor. But there are some companies such as Hisense and 4Movie and AWOL Vision. There's some people here that are actually at the show. So you've already done a couple of industry news articles on a
Yep.
couple of the products. One would be kind of the cool little I think it's the little LG unit
Yeah.
that you did the model on, the Cube, which is kind of
Yeah.
that whole lifestyle. And of course, there's guys like Hisense is showing a huge amount, releasing a huge amount of products, and they're actually showing a lot of up and coming prototypes. Seems like lifestyle and ultra short throw is the main thing you're going to see at the show.
All right. Well, let's talk about what you've seen. Did you get a chance to actually take a look at the Cinebeam Cube? And that's with a Q. We know how LG
Yeah,
loves to put the Q.
yeah, I actually did. It's pretty neat. It's a little ultra portable, smart RGB laser projector. I mean, it's 500 anti-lumen, so it's not gonna. They say it'll fill this gigantic screen, but realistically, it'll give you a pretty good looking image on maybe an 80 to 90 inch screen in a darkened room. But the colors are really good. It's packed with the LG operating system, so you actually get a portable projector that's truly smart. So your Netflix and your all of the apps work. It works as seamlessly and as smoothly as an LG TV. And good color science, good
Mhm.
RGB laser. And the build quality is very, very good. So I'm really excited about that little piece, and it shows that people are looking for ways to utilize, like these big companies that make TVs realize that there are applications for projector. And you see that at the show. There's a huge section on laser TV because it's great that you can get a 110 inch screen, but can you get it in your car? Can you get it in your apartment? Can you fit it? So there's still
Yeah.
applications where a projector is a better use case. If I was going to say the two themes that you would see when it comes to the show about projection, actually, it would be three. The first thing is growth of ultra short throw, growth of lifestyle based projectors, which is like the kind of that square cube with the built in smart type idea. So both are non traditional projection systems. And the next thing would be new advancements in light sources. So while there's not, if you look at some of this stuff, like for example, ALPD launched a brand new light source called the ALPD 5, which, you'll probably end up seeing in 4 movie projectors. There's a projector by this company called Nexigo, called the Trivision Ultra. It's a
Hmm.
lifestyle projector that has it. So you're going to start seeing that ALPD 5.0 light source in that. Then XGenie, which launched kind of a unique unit last year called the um, Horizon Ultra, which
Right.
had a system called a dual light system, which was an RGB LED with a red laser in it. And that did a really good job of increasing the brightness and eliminating things like speckle and reducing color fringing. Now they have a new version called Dual Light 2.0, and that is a RGB laser with a phosphor wheel in it. It's just like 30% brighter. It doesn't have any speckle. It has a wider color gamut than the LED one. So you got wider color gamut, brighter, pretty amazing. Because of
It
that,
sounds like it.
yeah, because of that, it not only does it support Dolby Vision, but it's the first long throw that also supports IMAX Enhanced. So IMAX Enhanced, you normally find that on something like a big Sony. So it's definitely the least expensive projector that supports that. And what they were doing at the show was they had an unnamed IMAX Enhanced projector, and then they were comparing it to this unit. They were both very accurate, but the saturation of the colors, this XGME was noticeable.
Obviously the expanded color gamut is awesome.
Mhm.
Having as you like to say, a bigger box of crayons to color with is always a better thing. And certainly, Xgimi knows how to use their colors, the colors that they have. Does the new system do anything for black level?
They say the contrast is going to be higher, but most of this is about giving you the wide color gamut that a triple colored light source will give you while maximizing the brightness, color accuracy. So how do I make it brighter? How do I make it maintain the accuracy? How do I give you a wider color gamut? And how do I eliminate the things that are fatiguing, color fringing, and laser speckle? So those are the things that they're working on.
Xgimi also introduced the Aladdin,
Mm-hmm.
and that looks like that's sort of a culmination of their purchase of Poppin's Aladdin
Mm-hmm.
technology back in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like a very compelling, bedroom sort of lifestyle speaker, projector.
hmm Well, what's interesting about that piece, they keep asking all of us, because, I was here with, and all of our comrades, a lot of our projector review comrades are here, and they keep asking us, what do we think of it? And we tell them we love it. So
Hmm.
in Japan, it already sells. In Japan and Asia, they already sell it quite successfully. But they were wondering, would it take off in the American market? A lot of the things that I keep stressing about it is people want a big picture, but a lot of times you don't want a big black box. Well, you don't want that big screen on your wall. You want to have the big picture when you can, but make that big picture disappear when you don't want it. By utilizing this space of above your head, which is where a projector normally goes, and make it into a projector, a light, a sound system, and give it smarts, means
Hmm.
that I could take this thing, replace the light in my kids' room, use it for the kids watching movies and playing video games, but it's just completely out of the way. If you don't know that it's up there, it looks like a round ceiling light. And if you're not
Hmm.
paying attention, you would never know it was a projector until you turn on. All of a sudden, you have sound and picture and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool. I could see Americans really gravitating towards it for someone who's looking for a non-traditional solution for a display.
It's a compelling bedroom projector, especially for kids. Obviously, that was a big push with the Poppin piece, where they had the customized apps that
Mm-hmm.
let kids interact, the storybook apps, the drawing apps. Now, those are again, that's the Japanese market. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to know if they're going to bring it here, if they're also going to bring that functionality here as well, because that seemed rather compelling.
So I'm curious to see it. I can't wait to test it out. When you're with the Hisense, the current models that are out, the L9G, the L5G, the PX2 Pro, those models, the C1, those models will continue on.
Hmm.
But what they wanted to show, they showed kind of a cool concept with two C1s, how they're adding the ability to blend two of them together. So if you wanted to have a 21 by 9, you could actually do that, and it'll edge blend, which is something you see in professional projectors. Kind of a cool little trick. But the main thing was that all of this stuff for laser TV, but it was all dedicated to like ideas. So the first thing, we talked about the fact that that screen is always in your face, even when behind you, Phil, even when the projector's off. So people
Mhm.
want to turn it off. So one of the things they came up with is a uprising screen to go with their Hisense projectors. And it's kind of neat. The projector controls, you turn the projector on, the screen goes up, you turn the projector off, the screen goes down. They're totally synced together. The next thing they showed
Cool.
was they have a screen that actually emits sound. And that was being showed with their 8K prototypes. So they had their 8K prototype there again. And they were projecting on the 8K prototypes image on, which is already another conversation, 8K,
Yeah,
laser TV. That's another prototype.
we'll get there.
Project, yeah, projected onto I think it's a 100 inch or 120 inch screen. Well, what they did is they put acoustic transducers behind the screen to vibrate the screen. So the screen emits sound, very similar to like back in the day, like Sony has their OLEDs that they put the transducers behind the glass panel and vibrate it. Because the material is predictable, they know what it is, they can vibrate it pretty well, and the sound comes from the screen. So instead of you having this big screen and having the sound come from the ultra short throw below, it comes from the screen. And they were showing it with a subwoofer to ensure that you had full range.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it. That's great because then, I mean, right now in projection, the way you solve it is you have to use, a perforated screen to allow audio to come through for a system you have behind, and then with those you sacrifice brightness. But if there's no perforations, then you're going to maximize the brightness coming from the projector.
the next thing they showed was they have a new screen that's coming that is can deliver higher brightness while delivering better black levels. And they had two L9Gs there, and they had one on the current screen and one on the new screen. And you notice that the new screen delivered better blacks and was brighter. Now, I did notice there were a few hot spots in it because trying to make something blacker and something brighter, if you get way off axis, you'll see it. On axis, you didn't see it. Off axis, you saw it a little bit. But it was nice for someone who's looking to who shows that you can really use this projector in a room with ambient light.
Are these lenticular screens or are these Fresnel screens?
I think they're
Okay,
for now.
okay,
But they're hard fixed screens, right? The
okay.
the next thing that they had was the new kind of design for a laser TV. So they have a new one, and the packaging is insanely compact. I mean, probably 40% the size, maybe 30% the size of the current model. Really
Wow,
stylish,
really?
super bright, and they were showing it with this ultra thin bezeled LED backlit screen. It was a beautifully designed product. As laser light sources get more efficient, and say we make the screen vibrate, I don't have to have speakers in it, I can make the unit more and more compact and give you a more and more stylish thing that doesn't overpower your room. So that was cool. The last thing they showed, a company called Barco does this thing called, I want to say, I think it's called light steering or laser steering. This is almost like power redirection found in a modern LED TV. So what they can
Okay,
do is they can take the energy, the entire energy of the backlight, and instead of it lighting the entire screen, they can focus it like a laser pointer at a highlight. And because I can focus it and redirect it, the blacks drop dramatically because the DLP is not trying to reflect the light away. There is no light there for it to reflect.
right.
Then the light that's going towards the mirrors that are on is hit with more intensity. So what they
Mm,
can do is much better black levels than I've seen on a traditional laser TV, while producing 2,000 nits of highlight detail. So to put that in perspective, most projectors, even really bright ones like 3,000, 4,000 ANSI lumens on a 120-inch screen, on a matte white screen, you'll probably get 300 to 400 nits. This is
mhm.
2,000, uh, and,
Wow.
and you're getting 2,000 nit highlight and blacks at the same time. This was something that was developed in conjunction with Barco. Barco uses this on high-end professional projectors, but this was so you see the projector. It literally says Barco and
Mhm.
Hisense on it. It's going to be a Hisense product, but it's a partnership between Hisense, Barco, and another company out of Canada that I believe that developed the technology. So that
Mhm.
was freaking amazing.
So I know there's probably way more that we could talk about in this video, but I just want to ask you real quick. Samsung has again at the show this year really been pushing 8K
Mhm,
technology, DLP
mhm,
technology. Did you get?
mhm.
Have you had a chance to go by the Samsung booth and
I
see?
am. It's not in the booth. The only thing that's in the booth right now at Samsung is they have a couple of small freestyle tubes. I'm trying to get
Okay,
into. It's supposed to be like a. They're supposed to be. They're announcing a couple. I think three new premieres or a couple premiere projectors. One of them is 8K, but just like Hisense, I'm questioning if it's ever when it's coming to market. Um, Hisense has their 8K on the floor. Samsung
right,
does not. You know, I'm sure that eventually it just shows that that imager is available, but they are
right.
making new models to replace the current premieres. So like the LSP, the LS9, I think it's called LS9T and LS7T. Those are going to get replaced. So, and I'm sure they're brighter. They have more features. They have more capabilities, and eventually we'll see 8K. I saw the 8K, and I'm like, wow, it's 8K. But if you look at it from the couch you're sitting on, and then you go look at the 4K one, I don't see much of a difference.
And I think, and as you rightly point out, it's a law of diminishing returns. The
Mhm,
bigger you go, I mean,
mhm,
unless you're projecting, a big giant screen, an
mhm,
8K image isn't necessarily going to be demonstrable in a normal
mhm.
situation.
To me, it's nice. It'd be great, but the advancements in the lighting, advancements in the optics, advancements in the video processing is a better thing.
So, what's on the agenda for you today?
Maybe spend a little more time at 4 Movie. So I was at 4 Movie yesterday. They were showing off, of course, their 4 Movie theater, which we've already reviewed, which we love. They have a new single laser piece that's coming. Supposed to have great picture quality, a lot of capabilities, but because it's a blue laser phosphor, it's going to be less. Um, but I also had a chance to talk to Aptronics was here showing other applications for projection technology, and they have a booth that's, I mean, a little area set aside for utilizing projection in automotive applications. So the first
Mhm.
thing they were showing how they're using the blue laser light source to make the most intense headlights you've ever seen in your entire life. I mean, the headlight was like this big, but it was brighter than these gigantic headlights, which makes designers happy. Then they were
Mm.
showing a concept of a between those two headlights, they were going to put a projector in the front of the car. So you could pull the projector up to the garage. You want to have backyard movie night or take the thing camping, project. And because, if DLP with a closed optics and closed laser light source, water resistant, weather resistant, it'll survive, 0 degrees, of, freezing and Las Vegas temperatures. So I thought that was really cool. They launched a car that basically has a little ultra short throw projector mounted in the ceiling of this SUV and a motorized 32-inch screen. So you're watching a car, and out of the ceiling comes a 32-inch projector.
Mm-hmm.
So from an average viewing distance in the back seat, it looks like it'd be the equivalent of you watching a 75-inch TV in a house.
Wow.
But when you hit
Wow.
close, it disappears. And then they showed their version of heads up. Here's a new heads up display utilizing the latest in projection technology. So I have a Tesla, and we were talking about how all the data is down over to the far left side, far right side. So I was like, I would love it if all that data was on the screen. So they were showing kind of this little demonstration where you put your head in it, and what it would simulate is as you're driving, those instead of the heads up displays we see that are like this big, if it says
Mm.
turn right, there's a huge arrow. It's like you're looking at a 100-inch screen that says turn right, or the arrow is on the road saying go straight and turn here. So it was really really cool. So it was like, okay, because of how projectors work, there's so many things that you can
Mm-hmm.
do with the projector that you haven't even thought about, including crazy things you can do in automotive applications. So I thought that was a cool one too. So we're gonna try to put that up as well. So I gotta go, and like I said, I'm gonna send you some stuff. So companies that are here for movie showing their 4 Movie theater and a couple of their new models. Hisense showing a large amount of concepts for the future. Xgimi showing their newest Horizon Max as well as their Aladdin. There's a couple of little companies called, one's called Nexi Go. We're going to actually review their projector. It's called an Aurora Pro. So under $3,000, 3D capable tri-laser projector that I've heard really good thing, ultra short throw. And they also have a tri-laser ALPD 5.0 lifestyle projector called the Tri-Vision Ultra. They're coming. And then of course there's these little small ones that are doing single LED projectors like Yammer and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, which I may actually grab because they may not be able to generate the color of a 3 LCD. The colors look pretty
Mm-hmm.
good and the brightness is pretty decent. So we get asked a lot. We're going to post a series of videos and articles about the show. Too busy visiting and too busy talking to people to edit, but we'll get those up in the next few days. So you can kind of get understanding of some of the things that are coming and to check and then be sure to check out some of our up and coming reviews on projectorreviews.com. So Phil, thank you
Yep.
for hanging out, and hopefully those out there got a little bit of information about the show. So take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy the rest of the show, Phil.